Hey guys, today's vehicle is a 2006 Pontiac Grand Prix. It came in with ABS light on, service traction control was lit up in the display panel, and it had a very loud howling noise that changed with steering pitch in the front end. I got the vehicle up on the lift. I took the tire off, that's why most of the lug nuts are gone. I just wanted to show you this right here. Front bearing. The passenger front bearing is loose, so I'm going to go ahead and swap this out. I always leave the steering unlocked just for this reason. I'm going to push that piston back in that caliper just a little bit, not all the way, just enough so that I can get the brakes back on. And because I'm not servicing the brakes, I don't have to take the caliper off of the bracket. We're just going to take the whole thing off as an assembly. The bolts for the caliper bracket are 15 millimeter. These are too, but I'm not going to take those off. 15 millimeter bolts. Shoes are falling out. I'm going to grab a piece of wire real quick. It's always a good idea to tie this up with a piece of wire, a bungee cord, a ratchet strap. What works really good are those little S-hooks that come on the rubber bungee cords, those black rubber bungee cords. And I used to have some, and apparently I've lost them. Because they work really good for grabbing onto the caliper and hooking on the spring. But we just don't want this caliper hanging from the wire, or hanging from the hose. So we'll tie it up out of the way here. There's 3 bolts that secure the caliper into the steering knuckle itself, and 1 electrical connection that I've already taken off here. The heads of these bolts are 13 millimeter. To get the top, I'll just put a longer extension on with a 13 millimeter socket, and you can usually reach right above that axle shaft. But I am not prepared today. one may or may not come out. Yep, it'll come out. Sometimes they won't because of the diameter of the axle shaft. An easy fix for that would be to loosen the nut and shove the axle back about an inch or so, and you can usually get it out. I like to leave them tight till I pound on this with a hammer and get the bearings separated. It just makes it easier. I don't have to pound on it. Look at that. It's coming right out already. The axle nut on this particular vehicle is a 34 millimeter. We'll move the axle out of the way to get the electrical connector through there. This bearing was just replaced by someone else, and I'm thinking maybe it wasn't torqued right because it's a moved bearing. It shouldn't have went bad. It was just replaced 5 months ago, so it shouldn't be bad already. Always pay attention to how that comes off there because you can clearly put it on there wrong, and you'll be hating yourself by the time you get to that point. Then go grab the new bearing. We'll put her back together. Okay, remember the wire come out here and it clips into this little guy right here. So when you put this in, you're going to want the wire fed through in that position right there. So we'll put our shim on the bearing. Use your thumb and push that axle back, and you should create enough of a gap to get that wire connector through there. I like to start all the bolts by hand before I run them in with anything other than my hand, just to avoid the chance of cross-threading anything. Also, if the bearing's sucking in hard, which this one's not, but if it was, you don't want to run one of them all the way in tight and then move to the next one. Just pull them in series, a little bit at a time. But this one went in really easy. Almost too easy. Makes me wonder what the heck. Okay. I'll go grab my torque wrench and we'll torque this down. I'm guessing maybe the previous repair wasn't torqued to I looked up the spec on this and it's calling for 118 foot-pounds, which seems kind of light, but that's what it's calling for. It's possible the last guy ran it in with a gun and that's why it's bad. So we're going to set this about what are we at here? Okay. That's what it calls for. I'll bring you over here and show you something real quick. It's very important, this wasn't done by the last repair, but it's very important that this wire doesn't just dangle and rub on the axle shaft, because you're going to rub a hole in it. That's what this clip is, this hole is for that clip. If for whatever reason you can't get it to clip in there, at least secure it with a zip tie to this location right here, just to avoid the wire rubbing through as the axle spins right here and the wire's making contact. The last person that did this repair job plugged these in and just left them dangling, and the wire made contact with this, but the bearing was bad anyway. You could see how loose it was. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in and put her back together. I just turned the tires because it makes it easier to get at the bolts back here. You don't have to. Some people will disconnect the tie rod end. I don't like to do that on a car with doesn't have a brand new tie rod end on it. Oftentimes the nut will get stuck and the shaft will spin, and then you're putting a tie rod on it. Where's my brake pads fell out? Come on. Why are you mean to me? Okay, we'll run those two 15mm bolts in. And that is it. I'm going to put the tire on it, clear the codes with the scan tool, take it for a test drive, monitor the speed sensors, make sure this one's working, and we're done. It is that simple. If this was informative to anyone, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Hit subscribe. Thanks for watching.